Hey guys, how's it going? It's Captain Tanner here. Do a little review on the boat. I've had the boat for a year now. Actually, another week will be a year, but potentially a year now. And I talk about the boat, and I want to talk about the v10 400s, which I've got a lot of questions on over the last year on how they've been, how are they running, things of that nature. And I just like to sit and talk about it since you guys been asking me and things like that. But first off, I'm gonna start with the boat. The boat is amazing. I've had a lot of great days on this boat fishing, and I've had a lot of great days where it's been kind of rough or really rough, and we still produce because this boat is made to go fish in rough weather, and there's no question about it. The best thing about this boat that I've noticed when I'm fishing in rough weather is, for instance, I take out a lot of older guys, obviously, when they come down to Florida in the wintertime. So when they jump on this boat, the biggest thing they notice is when we are anchored up, because we do a lot of bottom fishing. The biggest thing they notice is the stability on this boat while we're anchored up fishing. I've been on boats with Seakeepers. I've been on bigger boats. I've been on bigger Freemans. I've been on all kinds of different boats. But the biggest thing I've noticed with a cat in general and a Freeman is that the stability of actually fishing or anchored up fishing in rough weather. Now, obviously, everyone's waves and winds and stuff like that are different. But for us, if anything over 15, 20 miles an hour, it's really, really tough to fish in because we get a chop. We don't get big swells. We get chop, which is one after another, and it just keeps on hitting the boat. So that's the biggest thing I've noticed. Now, going back on the Seakeeper, I've fished a couple boats with Seakeepers, and yeah, they're awesome. They work great. But comparing this to a Seakeeper, there's not much big difference. You get a little bit more roll and stuff like that, but the platform is so stable, you don't need a Seakeeper on something like this. But anyways, that's one thing. The other thing with this boat that I've noticed is when I'm out charter fishing, the biggest thing I need to do is be able to point this bow in any direction and go catch fish, especially when it's tough days. If I can't go somewhere that I need to get to because of the weather, or if it's rough or too rough for the boat I'm in, it doesn't benefit me at all because people are paying the price to go fishing. So this boat, I can turn it at any degree and get to where I need to go fishing comfortably and go catch fish in any weather. The other thing I've noticed about this boat is she is a very dry boat. Now, I bought the side wings for this boat. I've happened to lose the one on this side, which is very, very unfortunate. But I bought side wings for this boat, and the only time I ever put them up, and I barely bring them on the boat, but the only time I bring them up is when I know it's going to rain all day if we're running through rain. That's it. This boat does not get wet at all. It takes a lot to get this boat wet. So that's another thing. So owning this boat now for a year, there's been trips where I had a previous boat, a monohull. It was called the Cape Horn. It was a very, very solid boat for charter fishing. Didn't have all the bells and whistles, but it had what you needed to go fishing, which was nice. Um, I was looking back at the schedule last year and this year, and I probably ran 30% more trips in rougher weather because I was be able to go out in this boat comfortably rather than the other boat I would have turned around in. So that was huge for me. I love that. Obviously, I need that because if I'm at the dock, I'm not making no money. So vice versa. But there's limitations, right? There's some days where I did have to turn around in this boat because I thought it was going to be nice enough and it wasn't. So, it's not like we're going out in everything. There is. So for the past year, the 34 has been a solid platform for what I've been doing, what I use. Now, obviously, the question is, I'm going to build another boat. Where do I go from here? And technically, since I'm running charters, I hate to go to quads, but that is the next direction. Obviously, everyone tends to go bigger on their boat. Some people downgrade, obviously, if they don't need that big of a boat, but for me, it's either stay with the same size boat or go bigger. Now, I would never switch brands. Freeman's an awesome brand, and their customer service is by far the best I've ever seen in my life. I've never had a problem with getting a part, getting anything from Freeman. Easy text or email, and it's shipped out that day. There's been a time where I lost a prop, and I needed the prop, obviously, to go fishing in the heart of season, and I contacted them, and that prop was at my front door the next day, which saved me huge from obviously losing. And I was in the heart where it was tough to get props, especially for the V10s, and we'll get to the V10s in a minute. But the customer service is amazing. I got to give it to them. They have some great customer service. Now on the V10s, I think the last time I did a video on them, I did like a little review of them running on this boat, things like that nature. And I was only at probably 100, 200 hours, maybe 300, somewhere right in that area. But now I'm at 1,000 hours exactly, just over 1,000 hours actually, I believe. Let's actually, you know what? Let's double check real quick, just so I'm not getting ahead of myself. So yes, I'm at 1,011 hours. See if you can see it. So I'm at 1,011 hours is what I have on this boat. And when I say I have zero problems. I have zero problems with these engines. They have been awesome. They're easy to service. I mean, super easy to service. A 100-hour service takes me no time to do it. And what I need, obviously, if I'm running back to back trips, you know, I barely have time there during the day as it is. So when I need to do a quick service, it makes it simple. These engines right here got to be the best engines I've ever had behind one of my boats. Simply because the torque on them, first of all, is awesome. When I'm offshore and it's rough, I obviously need that torque to get up on plane, to get in that, you know, rolling in the rough seas. And this thing just does the work. I mean, it's just amazing. The fuel on this boat, the fuel economy on this boat is, by God, it's not much more worse than the last boat I ran. I mean, I will obviously see 1, 2 with a full load. I'm talking 6, 7 people, 200 pounds of ice, a live well, you know, that nature, all day. The only time I ever dip under 1 is when it's either really rough or I'm doing 55, 56 miles an hour plus. That's the only time, and I rarely do that. So that's been great. These engines, let's see. These engines haven't. Like I said, I can't go really talk about that much because they've been great. I mean, I haven't had no problems. They run awesome. I don't get any error codes of, you know, just, you know, sensors going out or nothing like that. I mean, 1,000 hours, that's a long time on a pair of engines well, maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it seems like a lot of people say 1,000 hours is a lot. I don't think that's a lot. I think they're just starting to get broken in, especially with these newer engines and newer technology. So if you can go with Mercury V10s, you know, they make a 400 and 350. If you can put that on your boat, 100%, I would not ever have another boat without the V10s, especially just because of what I've seen with them in the past 1,000 hours. I mean, I don't even think about having to have a problem with them when I go offshore. Now, you never know, obviously, but they've been really good. So I'm glad that I went with the V10s by Mercury. They've been awesome.